Upgrading Garruk Savage Herald Planeswalker deck. Hey everyone, it's VM Campos, Magic Fan. Welcome to another Planeswalker upgrade video. This is the tradition where I show you how to upgrade the Planeswalker decks that come out in every new set of Magic. I do my videos with a focus on common and uncommon cards because these are the ones we often get, especially when we start off playing Magic. So this upgrade is for newer players, but intermediate players will still get some good use out of it. With those of us with more of a budget build in mind, focus on commons and uncommons. That's what this build will focus on. Plus, I'm also going to show a variety of different versions of the deck. You can find that over on my Patreon, patreon.com/vmcampos. For $1, you will unlock the other versions of this deck. I've got a full standard deck. I've got a historic version of the deck. You get that all for $1, as well as the other Planeswalker upgrade videos that I do. This one is the full-featured Core 21 focused version of the deck, totally for free. For $1, you get those other decks. Hope you check it out. Let's look at the current deck right now. So I've got my Arena account where I've got my deck fully loaded up. This is amazing that nowadays you can get this deck and load it up into your Arena account and battle people all over the world, not just those that you can trounce at your kitchen table. So I'm going to show you how to upgrade the deck. Now, I like to do these upgrades in a variety of ways, and the one I'm going to show you right here is one focused on just Core Set 2021. Especially as a newer player, you don't have every single card. In real life, you don't have probably a whole collection of every card. You can't just reach over here and get any single card that you might want. You have a limited budget and so forth, so this video is for you. On Arena, you also don't have every single wild card that you want unless you pay for it, and a lot of us want to play Magic in a very budget way. So I'm going to show you a budget build for this deck. As you can see here, I've got a few different versions of the deck. I've got the original unchanged version of the M21 Garruk deck, number 0 here. Then I've got one that is only focused on M21 cards. So this is an upgrade that only uses the M21 card list. That's the one I'm going to show you. If you go to the Patreon, you'll get the standard one, where it's the full breadth of standard to make it even better, and you'll also get the historic one, which is all of the cards available on Magic Arena, every single one back to Ixalan block. But I'm going to show you the M21 only version, so let's open it up. I'm going to switch the layout to our brand new one like this. Okay, so one of the first changes that I made was the mana base. There was 25 lands. I put it down to 24, so we can have more good stuff in here. So 24 lands. I'm keeping, of course, Garruk Savage Herald, 6 mana Planeswalker, 5 loyalty, +1, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature, put it into your hand, otherwise put it at the bottom. So you'll easily be able to tick him up to the -7, the ultimate, pretty well, if you've got some other creatures to protect him. If you need your creatures to help protect him, you've got a -2. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to another target creature. I've used that ability so many times to wipe the board of my opponents, their final thing, go in with a big hit. That -2 is excellent. You'll be able to do it twice, and then you'll start to uptick him +1, of course. If instead you were doing the +1 every chance you could, you can get to the -7 until end of turn. Creatures you control gain. You may have this creature assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. So once you get to a point where you're going to overrun your opponents, and even if they block you, you'll have all of your creatures deal damage directly to the face, like it's super trample, sort of, and you'll be able to finish off the opponent if you get to that -7 ultimate. But that +1 has been useful, and the -2 very useful. Now let's look at the other changes. You'll be able to get the full deck list, plus sideboard guide, plus other things, the other types of decks if you go over to the Patreon for $1. So here's what we did. We got the Skyway Sniper in here instead of the Almighty Brushwag. The reason for this is that it's a reach creature. It's 1 mana for a 1/2 that can block flyers, so I like that. Then you can do 3 mana to deal 1 damage to a flying creature. So the more mana you put into it, the more it can help devastate those flying creatures. So it's a little creature that can do a lot, especially damaging the flying creatures. You can use it to snipe that flyer and then block it with the actual creature itself, and it's only 1 mana for your opening hand. Turn 1 play, I love those. The next creature is the Drowsing Pteranodon. I'm keeping it, and I'm actually adding the full playset of 4. It's a 3/3 defender, but then it can actually attack if you control any creature with power 4 or greater. Now, what you don't realize, perhaps, when you first play this deck is if you give itself somehow the ability to be at a 4 power or more, it can attack. It's not just that some other creature needs to have power of 4 for this to attack. And you will see that we've got some cool synergy in here, of course, how to do that. Pride Malkin lets you do that, so full playset of 4 Pride Malkins. 3 mana for a 2/1. When it enters, put a +1 counter on any creature. You can put it on itself, it becomes a 3/2. Better yet, bring this in, put it into the Pteranodon right here, and it's a 4/4, and it's ready to attack, not just defend. So Pride Malkin and that dinosaur make a pretty good pair. Or the Wildwood Patrol, again a 4 of right here. 4/2 with Trample for 3 mana, I like that. So it's kind of weak in the toughness of it all, but when it attacks, it can also let the Pteranodon attack because there's another creature of power 4 or greater. Ornery Dilophosaurus, 4 of these. If you'll notice here, pretty much most of these are 4 ofs, except the 1-drop over there, because it's got its uses. But these other ones over here, we need 4 of these. So 4 mana for a 2/2 Death Touch. So it'll hold off your strongest opponent with just 1 bit of damage. So don't forget about this. If you've got that Dilophosaurus and they're never going to attack you, you take the fight to them. Summon your Garruk and then -2. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to another creature. So you'll be able to fell even their strongest creature because after all, Death Touch. Any amount of damage a source with Death Touch deals to a creature is enough to destroy it. So you don't even have to go send your creature into battle to get this to work. If you've got Garruk out, you'll be able to bite it from a distance and take out their big creature. I love that combo. They never see it coming. And the last creature is Garruk's War Steed. 5 mana to go then search for your Planeswalker and give you a 3/5 with Vigilance to get the party going. So once I know that I'm getting close to that 6 mana, I summon the War Steed, it goes to get Garruk himself, and then you're able to use him right away. So I love this little guy, 3/5 with Vigilance. Okay, non-creature spells. We're keeping the Primal Might. This is one of the upgrades that you might want to do at some point in terms of if you're dealing with rares and so forth. Same thing with that War Steed. There's 2 of them. If you want another one, you can put it in there. 2 is pretty good amount. You've got the Primal Might. So X and 1 green. Sorcery. Target creature you control gets +X until end of turn. Then it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. So again, you can give this Dilophosaurus some amount of extra power and toughness and then make it fight another creature. You will Death Touch the other creature, taking them out hopefully, and then you'll be able to attack with this Dilophosaurus all pumped up. Even simpler is the Titanic Growth, so a full playset of 4. Target creature gets +4 until end of turn. So even this little 1/2 becomes a 5/6 with just an outlay of mana on the second turn. Turn 1 Sniper, turn 2 Growth, you're doing 5 damage right away. And better yet, when you've got, let's see, turn 1 Sniper, turn 2 Pteranodon, turn 3 Titanic Growth onto the Sniper, you're attacking with that 3/3 that woke up, and then that 5/6 reach creature. We're keeping the Garruk's Uprising right here, 3 mana. When it enters the battlefield, if you control a creature of 4 power or greater, draw a card. Then it's on the battlefield after that. Then, creatures you control have Trample. Very nice. So even the smallest creature will be able to go in and do some damage. And then, whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. So this is going to be some great card draw coming in. This is the uncommon card that comes with the deck. You might want to add more if you shuffle some things around there for more card draw. If you play things right, you'll have the Wildwood Patrol out first, of course, and then you cast the Uprising, it draws you a card, and as you then summon more of these power 4 creatures with the Wildwood and such, you'll be able to draw more cards off of that. Hunter's Edge, 4 mana sorcery. You put a +1 counter on any of your creatures, then it deals damage to another creature. So here's one of these fight spells. That's actually a bite spell. Fight spell is that they both hurt each other. A bite spell is only yours hurts theirs. So give any one of your creatures a +1. Again, give it to the Pteranodon, make it wake up to attack, make it does a fight, and then it can attack. Or any other creature over here, the War Steed, that'll be a 4/6. That'll be nice as well. So I got the full playset of that. And here's the new addition to the deck, one of the big new additions. Cultivate. I love that they're reprinting this card in Standard. So I've got the full play set of 4 for 3 mana sorcery. Go search for 2 lands. They're all going to be forests. Of course, that's the only thing we've got in the deck. So go search for 2 lands. Reveal them. Put 1 directly into the battlefield. So this will be in addition to the one you played that turn. So if you're doing it all perfectly on curve, turn 3 you cast this, you put an extra land, you're 1 mana ahead of your opponent. The other one goes into your hand, so you're guaranteed another land drop. So the full playset of this, so that just we can ramp into the bigger creatures, the Dilophosaurus, the War Steed, the Planeswalker, and that you have more mana than your opponents. You can Titanic Growth, make a huge Primal Knight, and so that mana ramp is a good way to do that. So that's how I've made changes to this particular deck. You see I've removed some of the other creatures, the Brushwag, the Nisian Beetle, and so forth. Added mostly 4 ofs of many of these things. I want that synergy, I want that consistency. That's one of the ways to make a better Magic deck, in that you get what you need when you need it, meaning you have 4 ofs and such. Obviously here, if I wanted to upgrade this with more of the big money upgrades, I would put in the War Steed, I would put in more of these Primal Knights. I might even put in like that one Hydra that you dump a lot of mana into it and it gets huge. That's a rare card though. So as you can see here, this is a version of the deck with only standard cards, because especially as a beginner, you don't have the whole breadth of all Magic cards. You're probably focused on Core 21. Those are the cards that you cracked in real life, or maybe your wild cards, you don't have enough for everything that you want. So this is an M21, Core Set 21 focused deck. If you'd like the full breadth of all possible standard cards, head on over to the Patreon account. For $1 you'll unlock that, as well as other things like sideboards and all that good stuff. And I've also got there the historic version of the deck, so then that goes back even more sets of possible cards, but you'll probably have to crack a bunch of wild cards to get all of those exactly how you want. So that's the focus of this particular upgrade. Common and uncommon cards from Core 21 that you probably have. So what did you think about my upgrades? Do you like Garruk Savage Herald's upgrade? The way I did it here, I'd like to know about it in the comments. Tell me all about it. What would you add to it? What did I miss from Core 21 that you'd like to improve onto the deck? Of course, we've got a bunch of rares that we could add and so forth, but within our budgets and such, this is what I decided to create. And again, if you're going to want like the full range of all possible cards from the whole set of standard and historic, head on over to my Patreon, patreon.com/vmcampos for $1. Or just follow for free to be uploaded to everything that I do. So, this has been VM Campos, and I'll see you in the wilds.